Guadalupe Barrios, followed by Terry Higuera. I do not see Guadalupe coming up, so we'll move to the next person. Terry Higuera, followed by O'Brien Lawrence.
Good evening. My name is Terry Higuera. I live in Midville Park. I'd like to address Mark Stegman's response to the press conference held on Santa Anita last week. He likened it to an ambush. Really? Similar to the Band for Life from the SEC Tom Horn ambush on Mexican-American classes? Was it similar to when John Hubenthal falsely determined Moss to be in violation of state guidelines even after a self-appointed audit found that their program was in compliance? How about when TBT came and brutally arrested our elders and inflicted physical injuries upon our students? Were you forced to tears, as Moss students were, when the administration mandated their educators to box up these banned books during their class while they were in session? And how about the continued ambush by the local media over the years? Not once have I watched a true and accurate report on mass issues. 5 minutes of interviews with Moss supporters turned into 10 to 15-second sound bites, selective snippets that omit the most crucial facts that would communicate anything positive or factual on ethnic studies. Not to mention the numerous times Michael Hicks has been on the John Justice Show, spreading misinformation about issues under consideration at TUSD, a talk show that allows only one point of view to be heard. Mr. Hicks tried to use his cookie-cutter speech when he was interviewed by The Daily Show. The difference there is, when you go in front of a widely viewed program such as The Daily Show, whose viewers are above average intelligence, the cookie-cutter speech comes off as a joke, as it should be. What an epiphany that must have been. Not everybody thinks like you. And the station that's supposed to be on your side, they don't tell the entire story because their masters won't allow it. Arizona is controlled by corporations like the Journal Broadcast Group. For that reason, we depend on D.A. Morales, Dennis Gilman, Maria Herreras, and those like them to speak the truth. Some in our community ask why we are taking action. It's because nobody's listening. They take to heart what is put before them on TV and radio and blindly believe this censored news to be reality. They want us to stop rocking the boat. We threaten their sense of safety, superiority, and control. They want us to accept the crumbs from their table and be satisfied. What is certain is this: we will be heard, we will not stand down, and we will prevail. As Los Tigres del Norte so beautifully put into words, somos más americanos.
Lucas here now. Following is O'Brien Lawrence, and then Imani Loomis Williams.
Good evening. My name is O'Brien Lawrence. I live on Pendleton Road in Chimacacary, and I'd like to use the medium of theater this evening to share my message with you. Buenos nachos. Mi llamo es Rosarita. I'm sure you have seen my pretty face on a can of traditional, authentic Mexican-style refried beans, yes? I am here with the American Association of Stereotypes, otherwise known as AAS or ASS. I come with my husband Juan Valdez, hi honey, who arrived in this country after growing coffee in the mountains of Colombia. Okay, so we do not understand what all the fuss is about over HB 2281. American children do not need cultural studies. They get plenty of cross-cultural experiences outside of the school system. Why, they can enjoy traditional Mexican food at Taco Bell. Latino role models have become stars in Hollywood, like Mark Anthony, J-Lo, and Ricky Martin. And who does not know the words to La Bamba? This is not just a Latin American cultural issue. Children of Italian descent learn about Italy through Pizza Hut, the Super Mario Brothers, and The Godfather. Children of Oriental descent learn the wisdom of their ancestors through fortune cookies. and African American children have representations of their cultural heritage with iconic figures such as Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. On behalf of the American Association of Stereotypes, I take my hat off to the Tucson Unified School District Board. I came here tonight in support of Tucson Freedom Summer and Chicanos everywhere. I'm originally from New Zealand and am an educator myself. I'm extremely disappointed and disturbed by my state's decision to ban the ethnic studies program in the classrooms. Please, bring balanced education back to Arizona's schools. Thank you.
Based off the timing, that would be all 20 minutes, unless the board chooses to extend. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name's Imani, 747 Haheone Street in Hawaii. I traveled here from New York City to support the efforts to re-implement the Mexican American Studies program. I recently graduated from college and became so inspired by this program that I wrote my senior thesis about the curriculum and the ban of the classes. I'm outraged and shocked by the ridiculousness of this ban because I was raised in Hawaii where culturally based curriculums that focus on teaching Hawaiian culture and history as well as how it relates to the oppression of the indigenous population is encouraged. I had also recently done field research in Brazil where the government instituted a federally mandated law that requires Afro-Brazilian culture and history classes, the most subjugated ethnic group in Brazil, to be taught in all public and private school institutions, and it's mandatory that the teachers discuss the history of oppression towards these groups, as well as how it is reflected in society today. Education is not simply a means to an economically successful career. It is a space where a love for learning and an appreciation for a cultural heritage should be cultivated. Many ethnic studies major students from Columbia University and San Francisco State that I interviewed for my thesis revealed that they have never felt supported by any institution throughout their entire educational experience, and this was rooted in a lack of acknowledgement or respect towards their heritage. In an interview, one student stated, "Through taking ethnic studies classes, I felt like I could understand my own experience, and it was a new lens to look at the world. It explained why some of the things are the way they are. I really feel like education is the linchpin that holds the whole system of injustice and inequity together, and so I feel that the classroom can be a place that if you aren't looking at it critically, and you aren't always trying to transform it, then it is a place where those inequities become cemented." Another student stated, "Young people die every day, and the education system is a place that is letting that happen. And it can be something that does the opposite, that gives people the tools to understand and heal and feel self-determined for themselves and for their communities, and that's something the school system actively strips away from people. It strips away identities, it strips away connections with ancestors, and it blocks people's wells of power." When I asked one of the interviewees what she thought about HB 2281, she responded by saying, "Everything is based on what you look like. What do we look like when we have such high dropout rates? What does our education system look like? And then you find things that change those statistics. You find something that makes it so that less Latino kids drop out, and then you make it illegal. What do you look like? You look like what you are, which is someone or a state or a group of people in power who really don't want certain people to succeed. They really don't want people to get out of the trap of the school system. So how do you understand that as an individual growing up in Arizona, as a parent? How do you explain to yourself and to your children that Latino literature is illegal? This just exposes the state and the system for what it really is once again. It exposes the lengths that people and politicians will go to make sure that young brown people do not succeed in order to keep the status quo. My research demonstrated that grounding education in cultural philosophies and alternative perspectives of histories is effective in elevating the self-esteem and ethnic pride of youth, particularly those of color, through providing value in their voices, heritages, cultures, histories, perspectives, and lived experiences."
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Final speaker is Guadalupe Barrios.
I'll be brief so that way you don't have to pick up your card. I have to say I spoke with one of you, and you said that the books would be reinstated into the schools. You did not say that the program would be reinstated. You did say that it would be changed. You did acknowledge the statistics, and I asked you about your culture, and you said Irish and Dutch. I remember it because I was listening. I have to say, if you do not care about your own culture, then you would not care about ours. But if you do care, then look at yourselves and study what you come from and where you come from and how you are part of America. Because as I look behind you on this picture, this beautiful picture behind you, you show a traditional dress of a beautiful woman dancing, and under it it says quality. And why are we receiving inequality? Why are we receiving this injustice? Why are we being pushed aside and saying we're getting special treatment when in all reality that special treatment consists of oppression? Now I have to say again, I spoke with you and I listened. Now if you're ready to make the change and you are worried about how much money you receive, because as we speak right now there's a boycott being planned for TUSD because the students that are going to your school are not being treated right. They do not feel like there's something going on in this school that they want to be a part of. So if you are worried about money and that is your numbers, think about how many students you're going to lose and the funding that it's going to take.
Left over, we'll carry them on to the regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to hear the rest of the cards that you have.
Okay, there's a motion.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes?
All those opposed say no.
No.
Okay, the item passes. And so we'll hear the 6 is my understanding that are up here. Okay. Then I will continue as directed by the board. The next person to speak is Elizabeth Catlin, excuse me, and following is Kazadian Quitsar.
Okay, thank you. My name is Elizabeth Catlin, and I've also traveled from New York City. I came to support Tucson Freedom Summer in the fight against HB 2281. When I first heard about the ban of the MAS program, I was shocked. We organized solidarity events in New York City, and hundreds came out to support, to express their anger and disbelief about what the TUSD Board and the state of Arizona has decided to do here. Imani, my friend who just spoke, has covered some of the most pressing and important of the still infinite reasons why this program and these classes are so important, and therefore why your banning of them is so horrific. Yet I would just like to reemphasize that your banning of this program is directly targeted at a particular ethnic community, while in contrast the MAS program itself covered a diversity of ethnic histories and cultures. Your decision to ban this program and give, quote, special treatment to the books that were a part of it exemplifies the truth of institutional racism at its best. I would like to close these brief remarks by emphasizing that this struggle is not only being watched here in Tucson. People around the country and the world are talking about what you all, the TUSD School Board and the state of Arizona, are doing and have done. This is a historical moment for civil and human rights. Sorry, there it is. Yeah. So your special treatment of these books and if the banning of the program fails the conceptions of equality for all expressed in the Equal Protections Clause of the 14th Amendment in the Constitution. In this historic moment, which is truly a battle for human rights, the TUSD Board has taken a side. It has taken a side that denies people their history, it denies people their identity, it denies people their right to understand and respect the purpose of struggle. Struggle that broke people out of chains, out of being